just one part of the video, incredibly hard to watch. It is important to note that parts of that video have been edited and cut down and bleeped by the police department. And it has been compared to that of Rodney King's from more than 30 years ago right here in LA. And you can hear Nichols say multiple times, "I did not do anything," attempting to comply with officers before he gets on the ground as instructed by the officers. You then see him get up and get away as the officers begin to tase him. Retired Sergeant for the Los Angeles Police Department, Cheryl Dorsey, joins me now to talk about this. Also here is criminal defense attorney Rachel Fiset. Thank you both so much for joining me. So, Sergeant, I want to start with you here. We hear Nichols comply. We see the officers repeatedly hit him. We see so much force being used. What is your reaction to this video tonight?
So when you watch the video, what I see are officers who are drunk with power. I see officers punishing Mr. Nichols for whatever reason. I think this is how this unit, this Scorpion unit, gets down. I think they did this so effortlessly that this is how they deal with people. And we hear them at the end create an audio record to now justify. They're manufacturing the probable cause. Oh, he was running reckless. He tried to get my gun. Everything that we don't see on the camera, they try to get us to see by virtue of what they say. And so this was punishment. This was never about getting him in control and complying.
And Rachel, I want to bring you in here. You are a defense attorney, and Sergeant rightly pointed out, we hear the officers at the end of the video, and we'll see it later, them attempting to what seems to be create a narrative. Oh, he was hitting me back. And yet we see him here complying. We see him here looking confused and fearful in his face. What's your reaction to this video?
My reaction is the same as Sergeant Dorsey's. I think that they pulled him over. They did not have a reason to do so. They used force beyond what they would ever need to contain him, to do anything, because he was not posing a threat in the first place. He goes away probably because he's scared out of his mind, and now he's saving himself. And they go back and they manufacture a reason for why they started this in the first place.
And I mean, we've even heard the Memphis police chief told our very own Tom Yamas, right? She described the conduct of these officers as a 10. Of course, this was just one part of this 4-part video. So we're going to watch the next one. Here, we're going to show you the second video. It's from a different angle, and it's called the Sky Cop angle. So you're not going to hear any sound. It's from the street. And again, we do want to emphasize this is disturbing. Rachel is still with us, along with Charles Coleman, NBC News legal analyst and former New York prosecutor. Rachel, I want to bring you in here. After what we just watched, what is their defense? 6 of them beating an unarmed man who appears to be entirely complying.
They have a very little defense other than what they can manufacture as to them having some sort of fear of him, that he had fled, that they had a reason to be there in the first place, and that they thought he was a danger to society. But absolutely, he was complying. They had him apprehended. If he was a danger, the danger had ceased to exist. He was there on the ground. They had no other reason. They could have slapped handcuffs on him and arrested him if that's what they needed to do. And I don't see the defense. I see a bunch of people beating up a man for no reason in unison together.
And it seems that's largely what the public sees as well. We see a lot of protests happening right now in the streets, and we're going to bring in one of our reporters later. Defense attorneys use these videos. It's notable that they chose to wait until this evening to release them. Clearly, they knew they would be impactful. What impact do you think they'll have on this trial, if any?
Well, the defense attorneys certainly don't want these videos shown. This is terrible. This shows exactly what happened. As we're all watching this unfold, none of us can understand why it happened other than the senseless acts. The prosecutors will want this video shown because it tells the story of what happened. And I think what you're going to start to see here are different of these officers starting to turn a little bit against each other and attempting to plea out to lesser charges, because on these facts, on this video, the evidence is bad.
And we've seen similar cases where officers reach plea deals in excessive force cases. So we'll have to see how this pans out. And we do want to go back to one very quick piece of sound from the video, another one from a police body camera. So much evidence that this prosecution will be looking at. Rachel, same question to you. Can the defense use any of this video? And I mean, maybe it needs to be asked. Did the officers do anything right?
It's hard to say, and I think what will happen is this video will be played again and again and again at both sides. It may be slowed down to show the jury. It may be that they're parsing each individual act out, and that maybe he didn't grab the gun, but maybe the officer had a reasonable belief that he was reaching for the gun. And that's where they start to make their arguments is, okay, maybe it didn't actually happen, but the officer believed it did. So the officer acted in a manner that, from his reasonable belief, that would have protected himself. And that's why he acted in that way. And that's the kind of defenses you'll start to see, because frankly, on the face of it, you're struck by how helpless Mr. Nichols is as this is happening.
I mean, that can't be overstated. And Charles, I want to ask you,